Let's do it.
Oh,
And I'll adjust my. Oh.
wait. There we are.
Oh, it's. Oh, what was going on there?
I accidentally, well, I clicked on the 4:3 format where the cameras
Yeah.
were clearly not set up properly.
Yeah, I just like it as it's just the top of your head. It's just like you peeking out.
Oh yeah, I am there. Hey.
Just barely. It's like this. I don't know if I can do it.
Anyway, good evening, everybody. Is Coury just barely peeking up now?
I'm a delay here, trying to do it just like a little bit. There we go. Okay. Whatever. I was trying to make it work, but I'm on such a delay that I couldn't. It was
It's
just when I tried to adjust it, I was.
tough. Oh, what? Oh,
It was like, I didn't actually need to adjust it.
Oh, Sandy's off to murder her reindeer.
Well, what is
which I keep out even though it's not seasonal because it's like one of her favorite toys now. So, but yeah, I mean, gosh, it's been 2 weeks, and in some ways it feels like a month.
It really does. I mean, it's been a little while.
I feel like Midwest Gaming Classic was like 2 weeks ago.
Really? See, I don't feel that at all, but it was. I mean, it doesn't. It feels like it's been longer than 2 weeks since we streamed, for sure.
Oh, you can see Sandy being rowdy in the back a little bit.
She was like, "Gonna eat it." We had to pick up Nellie from. We boarded her overnight because I went up to my in-laws for Easter. We went up last night.
They don't really like having a dog in the house too much.
I mean, yeah, they don't really care for it. They like her, but I don't feel like they want to like have her around at their house. They like it. They like her when she comes here.
Yeah.
But
yeah, Sandy got to hang out at my parents' house, and now she's back here while we were gone. But man, we had just like the best time, didn't we?
You mean
at like Midwest Gaming Classic?
Oh yeah, it was great. It was absolutely probably the most fun I've had at a convention in a long time.
Yeah, and very reinvigorating for us because
yes,
we got a bunch of interviews for our kind of long in the works projects.
Yeah, which is really good. Yeah,
both for Analog Frontiers and EGM.
Yes.
So that's like really kind of revitalized our
documentaries are back on the menu.
Yeah, we feel very revitalized and excited because of our fresh material. So
yes,
it was just a really fun time, like for both for hanging out and also just really satisfying for what we've come back with for the future. So I mean that was just great. I mean there were several people that we got to meet for the first time. Like we hung out a bunch with Clint for LGR Clint, and that was awesome. We hung out. We hung out quite a bit with. I mean, we've hung out with them before, but we hung out a bunch more than we ever had before with like Ryan from Castlemania Games.
Yep.
I mean, we just had the best time. It was great.
Yeah, it was amazing, and just having the fact that we didn't have to leave on Sunday was huge. Also,
yeah.
We like it gave us a chance to just kind of decompress afterwards, and like just hang out with people afterwards, and like we went out for drinks, and I spent a bunch of time talking to the owner of Ship to Shore Records.
I know. Well, it was so funny.
Awesome.
when I went back down there after a while, I started chatting to him.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
eventually I was like, so what's your role at Ship to Shore? And he's like, oh, I co-founded it. I'm like, oh, like I didn't expect the co-founder to be part of like the convention crew, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I think they only have like a handful of people.
Well, I know that's what also surprised me because I was telling him, I was like, well, you know what? I didn't realize it was such a small company because I feel like Ship to Shore, like even, and I told him, I said, I have to admit, I'm a CD guy. He's like, oh, I love CDs, but I wish they sold.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But, I was saying, like, even though like I'm not a vinyl guy, like that Ship to Shore is like the name that I know in video game vinyl. Like, so
well,
it's
you
really
know Ship to Shore, and you probably know Black Screen Records does like all the Ease stuff.
I'm not familiar. That name isn't familiar with me though.
And
like
Data Discs does all the Sega stuff.
Yeah,
But most recently, I bought more from Ship to Shore because they did all 4 Phantasy Star soundtracks.
Okay, yeah. Well, and I saw them they had them at their table.
Yeah, yeah, and they recently did all the Breath of Fire. I got to buy that first Breath of Fire soundtrack.
But yeah, I mean I was telling him how impressed I was that it's such a small company and yet they've done really well for themselves and just in terms of brand recognition, right? Because even I know,
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, although to be fair though, the fact that I know is probably mostly because of you being into it.
Yeah, but still,
I mean, it's impressive. He was a pretty fun guy.
Yeah, I mean, what was cool about it though is that there ended up being like a whole bunch of people there that we didn't know were going to be there, and like people that we knew. And it's like, oh, I didn't know you were going to be here. Like Greg from Laser Bear was there. And we had no idea that he was going to be there until like, it's like, oh, here he is.
Yeah.
And that was really cool. I bought a pair of the GunCon 3 LEDs from him. Because have you seen those? Like they have like the 3D printed LEDs that
yeah. I haven't seen those, but yeah, I know that's like a big pain to set up normally.
Ones. Because, like the ones that you use with the GunCon 3 that came with the GunCon 3 are a total pain in the butt.
Right.
And,
I remember you saying
like
so in
USB
your video.
Powered. So you can just like connect them to each other and then plug it right into your TV. So it's just like all like self-contained. And they're just like the way that they like have the like the 3D printed like backs on them make it so that they just like fit on your TV really easily. Because the ones you have a GunCon 3, don't you?
I don't, or I don't think I do. I'm pretty sure I don't. I've got, I don't have one. I've just, I do have that. I do have 1 or 2 compatible games for PS3, but it's like the collection that lets you use a Move as well. So I just, I didn't bother with it because I was just like, well, I can just use a Move instead.
But these can also be used with the Mister. Also, this makes it so they can be used with a Mister.
Have you ever tried to connect a Move to a different system? Decision. It's like the biggest pain in the butt. Like as far as I can tell, there is no way to actually pair it to another system if the system that it's paired to is plugged in. Like you have to physically unplug it, or else it will always wake it up, no matter what you do.
So these are what they look like. I mean, you can probably see them here.
Oh, okay.
And they just use USB-C, and you can connect them to each other, and then one of them just like into like the power of your like into the one of the USB-A in your on your TV. So that just powers them, and it's like seamless versus what comes with the GunCon 3, which is like these kind of things, but they had these rubber straps, like weights, counterweights to them. And there's just like a million wires, and it's just like a pain in the butt. So when I saw that he had these, I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna like buy some right now because he has ones that are not like it just like has all the parts and you can put together yourself. But he had some that were already like put together already. So I'm like, I'm just going to buy some of those.
I see Corpse 413 is saying, "Wait, I'm in the market for a GunCon 3 LED. How can I find these? Just
You
go
can
to
just like right on Laser Bear's website.
yeah. Just is it Laser Bear? I don't know if it's laserbear.com or Laser Bear
I think it might be
Industries. Just
laserbear.net.
Google for Laser Bear Industries and you'll find the website.
It's laserbear.net.
Well, you should probably catch up on super chats and
Yes.
other notifications, and I will get started on the game. And I'm sure at some point we will, since I am playing Mario Galaxy in part inspired by the fact that the Mario movie just came out, I'm sure we'll talk about that at some point as well.
Yes, for sure.
So this, I briefly did test this, as you can see from. If you can see from the Toad there, I very, very briefly tested it, but I'm going to be starting from scratch. So I've not played much of this, but like from what I tested, I was like, yeah, this works well enough in lieu of a, I forget what button you press to like reset the pointer direction, but yeah, this is probably fine. So.
Yeah.
Is a replacement. Anyway.
So there was a $2 super chat 9 minutes ago from Dad1153. Thank you. Saying, how are your blisters from playing the giant GBA or the Mega Game Boy Advance?
That was pretty interesting. And the directions on it were a little challenging, and the creator told me that it kind of the D-pad kind of deteriorated over the weekend with all the people playing on it. But that was a really cool thing that I've never seen at a convention before, where they called it the console makerspace, I think.
Yes.
Where, all of a whole bunch of these people that you just see, posted on, various gaming websites, is where it's like, hey, this guy made this, handheld GameCube, or cut down a Wii to just its bare essentials and put it in this tiny box and stuff like that. It was, it was interesting. And I've never really seen that kind of thing set up, Shank was there, who is I think one of the more well-known people that have done a lot of really crazy sort of GameCube and Wii miniaturizations and stuff.
Right.
And there was just some really neat stuff there. I mean, it's not stuff you can buy, but it was cool to have like a space where you could actually see those things for yourself,
Yeah, exactly. And Tender Brew has been a member for 12 months in a row, 1 year.
Wow.
Saying, I would have missed the last few streams anyway, but happy to see the dudes back and happy to be here. Yeah, I mean, there were some people on our Discord wondering if we were going to be streaming tonight, since it is Easter, and we've never. I don't think we've ever missed 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, and I don't know if we've ever missed an Easter. I remember I had the Famicom ROM hunt with Audie 1 year, a couple of years ago. That was fun. But yeah, we're here. Man, this scene, like, this was like the first time that like the airship music was back from Mario 3, like, in a long time. And this just like, man, this just made me tear up, first time I played this. It's just like, I can't believe like I'm seeing, this kind of, scenario and hearing this music in a real Mario game again, It was just,
and there was $10 Canadian from the importer. We haven't seen it in a little while.
Oh yeah, hey.
And says, hey guys, it's been a while. I'm enjoying Metroid Prime Remastered. What about you guys? Would you like more Wii and GameCube remasters?
I mean, always.
Yeah. I'm surprised there hasn't been more.
I saw someone joke somewhere on the internet something like you know, like the top rated games so far are for the year are Metroid Prime and Resident Evil 4. It's like, what year is it?
Yeah, I didn't even consider that. But I mean, Metroid Prime Remastered was obviously great. We both played through
Phenomenal,
that,
absolutely phenomenal.
yeah, it's just really nice to play through it again. After
I mean,
so
unfortunately, I don't think we're likely. I mean, what would we likely get that would be like a from the ground up remaster for GameCube that hasn't already been done though? Other than obviously
how about PN03?
I mean, you know, hey, I'd buy it. Good. I'll know how many others would.
Imagine that butt with even more polygons.
But like, I mean obviously,
I think of that game. I think like that game is like the butt game.
The butt game.
The butt game for sure.
Like more than Bayonetta.
Yeah. I mean, it's the original butt game.
It's the original butt game.
I mean, F-Zero, obviously. You know, how not to play saying F-Zero like that. I can't believe that hasn't happened.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, an HD F-Zero, like, that's like HD F-Zero GX. Like, that's just the most baffling thing to me that hasn't existed. Although I think Miyamoto is, like, under a misguided notion that, like, it is either bad or people didn't like it.
And he's wrong on both accounts.
He's wrong. He's wrong.
He's like, well, we'll bring it over, but you can only play it on the Wii U gamepad paired with the Switch. There's also $2 from Eric Reimers, saying, "Rest in peace, movie DK Jr. cut from the family tree." I guess we should talk about. We talk about the Mario,
movie,
the Super Mario movie,
the Super Mario Bros.
Yeah. So you saw it like opening day.
I saw it opening night. Yep.
And I saw it yesterday. I went with my son yesterday, and I mean, clearly, like, I mean, obviously, you have a lot more attachment to the material.
Sure.
You know, so I mean, but just for all intents and purposes, I thought it was exactly what it needed to be.
I agree. I thought it was really good. I mean, sure, there are like a few weird things, I guess, but
yeah,
like even those things didn't annoy me that much. Like we were both discussing how like Cranky Kong is
Cranky Kong was just like was kind of wrong. I just felt like
it should
have just been somebody else.
And you know, as was commented there, you know, he was portrayed as Donkey Kong's dad rather than grandpa. So yeah, DK Jr. I don't know if he possibly could have appeared in the background somewhere, but yeah, he seems to be written out of the movie. But yeah, so that was a little weird. Cranky was definitely weird, but like even then, I wasn't. Yeah,
I mean, Cranky was like honestly like the worst part of the movie. I thought like the part that like it just didn't feel right. I guess like everything about it. Like I just wanted like he should have just been an old guy in a rocking chair.
But I mean, still though, like there was never like a point where I was like actively annoyed by the movie.
Right. Yes.
I mean, I heard a lot of people like criticize like the needle drops, so to speak, when they had like real music, which I was like something I guess I should have expected because it's an animated movie in, you know, the year 2023, but it just didn't occur to me it does feel very out of place in Mario in my opinion. But like even then I wasn't. I wouldn't have had I didn't have a problem with it. My problem
the only like downfall to it, I think, was that they were just like songs that are in so much stuff. Like each one of them were just like things that have been overused in movies, just like completely.
Yeah.
It would have been cooler if it was just like things that were unexpected.
I'm trying to get a view of. Oh, I guess it's just coming over the plane. I was going to say the aspect ratio on that sun looks weird, but I think it's just because it's like sunrise. But anyway.
But it would, like.
But here's the thing: the movie had very, very little plot, and and that's like, I mean, it's like what do you expect? And that's why I think it's so funny that like the critic score and the audience score is like almost like 50 points removed. Yeah. And it makes sense because like, how do you review a game like, or review a game? It basically was a game. How do you review a movie like this? Like, it doesn't have what you expect from a movie. And like in a lot of ways, I feel like it was, Mario is just like basically this like international symbol of fun, right? And like everything the movie did was just kind of in service of getting to the fun as quickly as possible, right? So there's some parts like I thought like Mario accepted like weirdly quickly that like, okay, I'm in another world. Peach accepted really quickly like, oh hey, like you're a human like me really quickly, and she's just immediately like, okay, let's get you trained so you can go on this adventure. And like it just moved really quickly, but that like in another movie, I didn't
think about that at all.
Like, in another movie that might have bothered me, but here it was kind of like, well, but it just moves so fast you don't even have time to think about that stuff. Like there was very little time to even stop and be annoyed by anything because it just moves so fast, but it gets to the fun very quickly. So in that way, it's very Miyamoto and that light on story, but it's like, it's a film conversion of the concept of fun from the games into film. And it works in that way. It's just fun. It's just fun, I was consistently entertained the entire time. And what more do you need from Mario than just to be consistently entertained?
I think that I didn't even think about, that they just accepted him. All that, like, if it was live action, I feel like I would have thought about that, but just in an animated movie, I just didn't even think about it.
Yeah, I mean,
it is what it is.
I used
but
to
maybe
keep up
maybe my
with,
my standards aren't like that high for animated movies in terms of like fully fleshed out plots. I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think of them as like I don't know, like none of like they didn't really look like real people. What I mean? It's not like realistic looking.
Yeah. And like immediately, like as soon as you hear like Mario and Luigi like speaking in their regular voices, it's like again, the movie just moved so fast that I like didn't even like I was never like consciously thinking like, oh, that sounds like Chris Pratt. Like in the context of the movie, like I didn't even think about it anymore. It didn't bother me.
No.
It was fine. Something I didn't realize though until after the fact, like obviously Charles Martinet was that guy who was playing the Jumpman arcade game. It was obviously Charles Martinet. But what I didn't realize was that until after the fact that he was actually Mario and Luigi's dad, who is like clearly based on like Terran from Link's Awakening, or Talon from Ocarina of Time, which is essentially the same character. Like had to have been based on that. Who is based on Mario anyway, because like Ingo And
Right. Well, I heard that they actually got those character designs from Nintendo.
oh, okay, that's interesting. Like, I wonder if there's a possibility we could see those characters in a game. In that case,
maybe. I mean, I'm sure eventually it could happen.
But and like that was another weird aspect that was like not necessarily something you would expect, is like not only seeing their parents but also just like their extended family as well. And they didn't really play a role, but I wonder if they were in some ways set up for like a future movie, you know?
I mean, maybe. Like, I don't know. I think they just they needed something to show them in like a real world.
Yeah, they needed something to ground them to Brooklyn,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was exactly as good as it needed to be.
Yep.
And it was just, it was fun to watch. And I mean, it probably could have been about, 15, 20 minutes longer.
I mean, I understand why it was so short, because I mean, it's a kid's movie, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like they could have. I think that they just.
I wanted just a little more. Like if there was an extended cut, I would be way into that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but I understand why it was short.
Yeah, it's funny because, when Bowser was singing the song about Peach and the heart shaped bangs, I never noticed that. I never noticed that she had like a heart-shaped, like the front of her hair was shaped like a heart.
I guess I never really thought of that either. Even now, like I wasn't paying that much attention to the lyrics. I mean, it was just, once you like, I don't know if any of that side of Bowser was shown in any of the pre-release stuff.
No, but I mean, it's like,
because I stopped watching pre-release stuff like a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was ever shown, but like once you see the more sentimental side of Bowser in the movie, it's like even more obvious why like it had to be Jack Black.
Yeah.
Like I would not want to see, Chris Pratt Mario or, the Luigi like in the games, but if they took one thing from the movies and put in the games, it would be Jack Black Bowser. I mean, that would fit seamlessly into the game.
Yeah.
Really. Because I mean, he was basically Mario Odyssey Bowser.
Yeah.
Which was,
I mean, much of the movie's like entire plot felt like it was.
I mean, they borrow a lot from various games, but I would say the general like kind of world setup is based on Odyssey more than anything, which is why for me it worked to have like the Kong Kingdom, because I've as a Mario lorist, I have never really loved Mario and Donkey Kong coexisting in like Mushroom Kingdom games. Like I've always never been totally on board with like Mario and Donkey Kong being together in Mario Kart or Mario Tennis or Mario Golf or whatever. Now, obviously in Donkey Kong 94, it's fine because they're like in the real world there, right?
Yeah.
But I always felt like Donkey Kong didn't follow Mario into there. But then the way they set it up is, this is the Kong Kingdom, just much like there were all sorts of wildly different kingdoms in Mario Odyssey. That also worked for me. And really, Mario Odyssey's version where you never saw Donkey Kong, but you saw Pauline and
I'm surprised they didn't.
I'm surprised they didn't go for New Donk City, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about that too. It seems like.
But this works as well. The way they did it works as well. It's not completely consistent with the games, but it works. I mean, it's not, the games themselves are are inconsistent in how things are portrayed as well. So
Yeah.
it's
The
it's fine.
the thing that like at first I was like, oh, I don't like it, like this kind of stuff like always kind of like annoys me, and I was like, when he's like playing the NES, like it just seems like so weird that he's like playing an NES, even though he's like playing Kid Icarus. Like, is the NES even popular if if there's no Mario 1 on it?
I know. I mean, I didn't think about that either until you pointed that out. Yeah, like
And like that kind of stuff always bothers me in certain comic book movies when they say, oh, he's reading a comic book, and it's like real comic books of those characters, but those characters exist like in the world. Like, I don't know why that always like it just like feels too like weird. I think some of the Spider-Man movies did it where they're like, oh, I'm looking at these Spider-Man comics.
Well, you know what always I'm trying to think. Am I remembering correctly that in Ghostbusters 2 their outfits like actually have like the ghost with the number doing the number 2 thing with his fingers?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
like that kind of thing is like, what? Why is it this way in universe?
Yes.
But the thing that bothered me, I mean, I thought it was cool that Mario was playing NES, but I was like slightly annoyed by how the NES looked. Like, it was clearly stylized, I guess, for the cartoon world, but like it looked a little wrong to me.
I see. I didn't even like look too
The
closely.
proportions were strange. And like I mean, maybe it was modeled almost, maybe it was like a blend of like the NES Classica and the original.
Maybe.
I mean,
we can come back to it. I got a couple of super chats that I've like postponed for a long time. I'm sorry about that. I've been thinking about them the whole time though. There was a $5 from Potbelly Punch.
Oh, we met you. We met you at Midwest Gaming Classic.
Yeah, I mean his super chat says, "Nice to meet you at MGC. Did either of you find anything interesting? I got Sky Gunner on PS2. Great hidden gem on the PS2. Oh, that's a great game.
Well, I bet you paid a pretty penny for it, like I paid a pretty penny for Shock Troopers on the MVS.
Yep.
That's easily the most money I've ever dropped on a game at a convention.
Yeah,
but I think it was a fair price though, given that
I thought you had it before this.
Huh?
For some reason, I thought you had it already.
No. And the reason I got it was because like I still want to get Metal Slug 1, which is a relatively cheaper Neo Geo game. I still want to get that, but like if I have Shock Troopers 1 and 2 and Metal Slug 1, 2, X, and 3, I feel like I can be content with what I have on Neo Geo.
Yeah, I mean, I was
so
the
Metal
whole time
Slug 1 is the only
thinking about buying Neo Turf Masters on it, but I was like, I don't know if I can spend $220 on Neo Turf Masters.
Yeah,
I thought about it consistently throughout the entire weekend, but I did not.
and we ran into the guy that was selling it on our way to dinner Sunday night. He's like, I still got it.
But then when you went back up to the room, we went to the bar.
Oh, was he there again?
He came in, and I'm like, I feel like the universe is telling me something. And he's like, I can go get it. Like, oh man, I should just do it, but I didn't. I didn't do it. What else did I get? I mean, I certainly didn't spend $220. I mean, I didn't get anything super expensive, I guess. Let me look at my my thing here.
Yeah, I didn't get all that many games overall in addition to Shock Troopers. But hey, thanks to everyone who bought Blu-rays from us there.
Yes.
That gave me a little bit of extra spending money,
Yep, and not only that, I mean, big thanks to Castlemania Ryan for like selling them.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like they were at his table and he just like handled it.
Because we didn't have a booth.
Right. Hang on, let's see if I can. Missing date added.
That's good.
Okay, so I got got Miracle Warriors on the Master System, which is
That's an
surprising that I
RPG.
didn't have
That's
it.
like an RPG, right?
Yes. And that's something I've been trying to get for a long time, but I didn't get it because it never had the map with it. But then somebody was selling it there, and it was a good price, and it had the map. So I got that. I got a Ranger X or Rangerx.
Rangerx.
I got Atomic Robo Kid. I got both those from the same vendor, who we talked to quite a bit, like the night before. Who was a big fan of the show, but also a big fan of the podcast.
Ah.
And so I bought Ranger X and Atomic Robo Kid from him.
And you know what else I got, which was this was also not the cheapest game, but a significant amount cheaper than Shock Troopers. And I definitely want to stream this someday, but I'd like to get the battery replaced first, just to be safe. But I got Quest: Brian's Journey, also known as
That's good.
L-Tail Monsters 2: Satan's Counterattack.
You were like back and forth on that.
I know. And you probably think that was like the biggest waste of $54, but I really wanted
between
it.
that or Gradius 5, and I'm like, how do you buy that over Gradius 5? Honestly?
Well,
but you said the Gradius 5 was gone, right?
No, well, I don't know. I didn't actually. I bet it was, but what I actually went back to get was, so I don't think either of us even knew this game existed. I saw a Game Gear Mickey game that was The Legend of Illusion.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I had never seen that. I looked it up. It looked probably good.
Is there 3 Master System / Game Boy games?
Like in the Illusion series?
Yeah, because I definitely have 2.
And I don't think there's a Land of Illusion Master System or Game Gear version, is there?
Hang on. I have it.
So would that make there
good.
4? Or I don't know.
So what was it called? Land of Illusion? Because I have
Legend of Illusion.
Right, so I have Land of Illusion.
I have Land of Illusion on Genesis.
Okay, so Nam Omar is saying, yes, there's 3 Illusion SMS games. How about that?
And I also saw, what was it? I saw, there was was it Land of Illusion Master System, maybe, that I saw at another booth?
Or Castle, I think it was Castle Illusion.
No, I knew about, well, there was a Castle of Illusion, but there was also another that I was like, I don't think I knew about that. Or no, maybe I'm thinking of something else. But yeah, I didn't know about Legend of Illusion at all. It was like maybe $24 because it also had the manual. And at first I was kind of like, maybe I'll just maybe I'll just like get a card only, because that's like more, when I looked on eBay, that was more like $17 or something like that. But then at the end I was kind of like going back, and I was like, I'll go back and get it. But then like a good chunk of the Game Gear games that booth had were gone, including that one. So
I'll have to check it out.
So yeah, I definitely want that.
But the Atomic Robo Kid was the Genesis version. And last thing I got was Buffy the Vampire Slayer for the Xbox.
Which I actually got a copy of that myself the other day as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got zero attachment to the show. I might have seen
It's just
an
a pretty
episode
good
or two, like back in the day, but like, I mean, it looks like a really good brawler from that era.
Yeah, it's not bad. And of course I bought those LEDs. I'm thinking if there's anything else. I know I have quite a few super chats to catch up on. But just in closing, I think that we met like tons of people, and it was our first time going there, so we got to meet like a whole bunch of new people that we had never like met at a convention before.
Mm-hmm. And people that we hadn't seen in a really long time, like
we run into like a lot of the same people,
mm-hmm.
which is awesome. But I mean, like I'm just saying, like we've met many of them like many times.
Yeah, I mean, I think this was the first time we were at the same convention as like Kelsey Lewin and John Riggs since Missouri Game Con, like probably like, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. It's been a long time.
It's longer than 5 years ago.
Yeah, and I mean, we had a great time hanging out with them too.
Yeah. All right, so there was also $5 from Nana Cheesecake 15 minutes ago. Sorry about that. Saying happy Sunday. Enjoy the Martio.
The Martio. Yeah, I mean, I guess we just have a lot to catch up on and talk about this week.
Yes,
so
exactly. We're trying.
Taking us a little bit.
So there's also $4.99 from Tyler Netherly. Thank you. Saying I remember trying to choose between Galaxy and Looney Tunes Acme Arsenal at a GameStop when I was 9 in 2007. I think I made the right decision. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I mean, don't think no that you made the right decision. There was $5 from Adam Grubbs. Thank you. Saying it was great to meet you meet you guys at MGC. I've been playing the Super Metroid I bought, and I'm stuck on the second Ridley fight. So that's like the main one, right? The first one would be like the intro, or is there like?
Yeah, I mean, there's only one Ridley fight on the planet, so.
Yeah, I always call it Zebs. I've heard people refer to it as Zebus, but I've always just said Zebs.
It's a word I don't have to say out loud very often.
Yeah.
Zebus, Zebes.
So I'm probably wrong. Maybe it's Zebus, but I've always said Zebs.
It's probably like Zebures or something like that.
Yeah.
I would imagine
Zebes.
in Japanese. It wouldn't be Zebes. I wouldn't think.
Zebes. What else? There's $4.99 from Shane Kirby. Thank you. Saying I had to share my excitement. Got my first PVM ever, a 14L2 with near perfect geometry. Loving it.
Nice.
Congratulations. Hopefully it didn't cost you much. Did you find it for a good price? Hopefully it wasn't too.
I mean, you know what? It's an accomplishment to get one in this day and age, no matter what. So. You know what? You should be happy even if you did have to pay a little bit for it.
Yeah. And there's also $4.99 from Paul Anderson. With no comment.
Does anyone remember if you can do the? Oh, there it is. You know, I'm having a hard time doing it with the Joy-Cons. Because it felt like you couldn't do the, you know what I'm talking, the
you're
side
playing
flip.
this with the separated Joy-Cons?
Yeah, well, actually, I mean, I feel like the cursor would be weird otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe I should be playing with the stick. I'm actually, I'm using an accessory that I feel like most people don't know exists, and it's not expensive, and I think really cool. They're like, I don't know, it might be like $30 at most. They're first party. I forget exactly what they're called, but they're these battery packs for Joy-Cons, and they actually have like little bay. I don't have any in it right now, but they've got like a little bay for 2 AA batteries that you can like actually keep Joy-Cons like running for longer. But the reason I got them wasn't really for that functionality. It's just
but they're probably just easier to hold.
it just like it just
And they're official.
yeah, they're not only official, I mean they're first party. I bought these. I want to say I bought them on the Nintendo Online Store. Well, no, I think I bought them on Amazon, but I think that's where I discovered them, which is like the official Nintendo Online Store. And
Interesting.
they're like the rails that come with the Switch, right? That
Yeah.
you put on. They have those little buttons, but the fact that they've got this little extra hump for the battery pack, I think just makes makes Joy-Cons a lot more usable for detached play.
Yeah.
So it like I think they're really neat.
$25 it looks like.
I know, and like so they're cheap, and I think that they add a lot to the Joy-Con experience. I mean,
they're on sale right now. I'm gonna get a set of those, I think.
Yeah, I mean it's I don't know. I think they're a surprising thing, and I think most people just don't even know they exist, but they're pretty nifty.
Yeah, I'll do that. The Joy-Con AA battery pack.
Yeah, it's not exactly a catchy name.
Well, yeah. There's also Mega X6 has been a member for 12 months in a row.
Oh.
1 year. I saw Super Bomberman SNES and Turtles, TMNT Turtles in Time at my local GameStop for $50 each. Almost bought them.
Oh,
I wonder if
retro games actually in stock at a GameStop, huh?
hang on, I will purchase this in there.
Would those be good?
Surprise.
Would those be fair prices for those? I would say probably. That sounds probably about right for TMNT at this point. I don't know how expensive Bomberman.
If anybody wants to.
So was Super Bomberman 1 the game that was in your episode, which we haven't even talked about the episode. So much has gone on this week, really.
Yeah. I mean, that was
that the game where it took out the footsteps, Super Bomberman 1?
Yes, that removes the footstep sounds.
That actively makes me not want Super Bomberman 1.
Because of the footstep sounds?
I mean, they sounded really obnoxious.
Yeah, right?
Do you know if Super Bomberman 2 and onwards also has that? Or did they take that out?
I don't think that they have footstep sounds.
It actually, like, visually didn't look as good as I thought it would have. I feel like I played it with friends back in the day, but I don't know for sure if it was Super Bomberman 1 or not. But yeah, it didn't look as good as I thought it would. Like I feel like the PC Engine games just aesthetically look much nicer than that.
Yeah. There's $25
oh, wow.
from EB Chill 2. Thank you. Dang. Saying go get yourself a Joy-Con, Coury. both of you and everybody on the stream have a great week. Thank you. Thank you. There you go. I just ordered them. It's covered thanks to EB Chill 2. Thank you.
I hope you saw that EB Chill had a little issue with the Discord permissions.
But I think that
I think Henry Clark fixed it.
Yeah.
So I messaged you back, but I think it was when I was in Midwest Gaming Classic, so I can't remember if you caught wind of the fix, but that should be fixed for you now.
But just in terms of the episode, it felt really good to get that out so quickly after, but it was definitely a crunch. We had the sponsorship that we had in the front of that episode, they had a thing in the agreement that we signed said, the video with this attached to it has to be out by the 5th at the latest, which wouldn't have been a problem if I wasn't going to the convention.
Yeah.
So that was like Friday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I didn't get back until 9 o'clock on Monday, 9 o'clock in the evening, or at night. So there's just no way I could do it. So I had to get it pretty much done by the time I went to bed on Thursday, and I got back and I had to like work on it all day so I could make it in time. And it was like a long day. Like I was not. It should not have taken me as long as it did on that last day, but I don't know. I just had a lot to do still.
Yeah. Well, I felt like part of how I justified that Shock Troopers to myself was the hassle of doing the sponsorship spot. I shot that sponsorship spot like 3 times because the first two times I like somehow had accidentally flipped the focus switch on the camera, and like it was doing this really bad autofocus. And so I shot it twice, and then I might have actually shot 4 times, because I think I shot it and it had twice and it had the focus issue, and then I shot again once I figured out why it was doing that, and then it was too long, and I did it, I think, a 4th time. So I was like, oh, okay. I was like, all the extra hassle I put into getting that done, I deserve a Shock Troopers.
But yeah, I mean, it was tough to get that done in time. But I'm pretty happy with how it came out, and I feel like it's good. This is all like real good, because between like releasing 2 episodes in 11 days is a pretty good turnout. It's been a while since we've done had 2 episodes that close, and I'm gonna keep it going. So I know I said I was gonna do my room tour next, and I'm working on it, but I'm gonna do a smaller video to kind of keep it within like that every 2 weeks. Just keep that every 2 weeks or faster going, and I'm going to do a video on the PS2 power adapter and how I use it for like to power like almost all of my barrel
You've
adaptered like AC adaptered systems.
You've got like a good chunk of that like kind of already done anyway, right?
Well, it's
or
like I have some stuff written for it, but it's just like it's not going to be a long episode. I can't imagine it being like longer than 12 to 15 minutes. Like that's probably pushing it right there.
I don't want to spoil what it is.
I want it to be like, hey, this is kind of a neat thing, and it's something that people can like pass on to like their friends, because it's a great, like if you have one of those, like have like one of the best power adapters for all of your classic systems, and using a variety of like splitters and pole reversal cables to like power like multiple systems. It's not like you can turn them on all at once,
right?
But for instance, I have probably like 8 or 9 systems like hooked up to it. It's not like I'm going to turn them all on at once.
Yeah, if you did, that'd be a problem.
I can use that and just like use that one adapter, and it's not even a wall wart. It's like a, it has like the figure 8 cable.
It's like a brick in the middle, which saves you a power strip spot.
Yeah. So, I don't know how many people like know that that's possible.
We were actually suggested a really quick and easy subject as well by Shank when we were there, which I don't want to spoil what that is, because it's a very simple concept, and it's something that I actually didn't know about, or if I did know about it, I probably looked at it and just thought, there's no way that would be any good. And then he showed it to us, and it's like, oh, this is actually quite interesting. And so I might actually try to get an easy thing out when I have some time as well, before getting too deep into Analog Frontiers 4 again. Just to kind of have a little content out there. But I am really excited about Analog Frontiers Part 4 now, just because we've gotten some interviews to add substance to it that I never thought we would have a chance to get.
Cool decision.
So I'm super re-energized on that, and that's exciting. But it might behoove me to do a quick little thing as well if I have time. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
To be determined.
But I'm going to try to get that done, so it releases within 2 weeks of that last one. And, that it's not going to be like a 30-minute episode, but I think that, you know what? I don't care anymore. I'm just going to do the stuff. The stuff's just going to be with whatever length they're going to be. And I think that this is something that people might find to be really useful. Anyways. It felt good they just released those two so quick to each other, and it wouldn't have been. It was only a challenge because of the trip.
Yeah,
I would have had plenty of time, and I've also been working on helping John with the DF retro that he's working on about Road Rash. I'm not going to appear in that video. I decided I'm not going to appear in it. I'm just going to help them gather materials and stuff, which is what I'm doing. And, at first we were discussing we're going to, both appear in it like we did with the Klonoa stuff and how I tried it with the Final Fantasy 13. But I think that when I was closing in on finishing the Ambernick video, I kind of stood back and said, what, I'm not going to appear in something really big like this until I get my own shit sorted. So that is that is the decision that I have made, and I just think I feel better just appearing in stuff, bigger stuff on our channel right now. Although I'm going to do a fun little Master System collaboration with this gentleman that we met at the convention, who was doing a stage show called Tiger Chainsaw.
Oh yeah,
and, he's a big Master System fan, and he was very surprised to hear that I was a Master System fan. So we're doing a video on 10 Master System games, five picks each that we think that are people should have in their library.
Did anyone by chance happen to catch that little stream that so at Midwest Gaming Classic there was this extra stage in the main vendor hall, and that guy Tiger Chainsaw was just had throughout the event various guests, and we just did a little 20-minute interview segment with him, and it was a lot of fun. It was just it felt and there was a live audience there as well, so it was it kind of just felt like doing one of our regular panels, except with a little assistance and with someone
with somebody
asking
somebody's
us
running it.
It was actually it was a really nice format. It kind of made me think maybe we could do something like that for our regular panels in the future. I don't know.
Yep. Really quick, there was Andy64 has been a member for 14 months.
Nice.
Just saying Happy Easter.
Well, thank you.
There was $5 from Brent McLean. Thank you. Saying, I know Coury has mentioned he's hacked his 3DS, and I was wondering if they can be hacked without losing saves and Street Pass info. Thanks, guys. So I had no problem hacking mine and maintaining that. I think that the process is even easier now, although I'm not familiar with it. I hacked all of my systems.
All of your 3DSs?
When I had to use like the Pokemon Picross. And
Like,
I don't know if that's like even required now. Like I think that's even easier, but I hacked everything then and I just haven't paid attention to it since.
I downloaded Pokemon Picross to all my systems just in case, but I've hacked none of them. If you hack your system, can you like make the dashboard look unhacked? Like I assume you can just move any like homebrew apps like off to the side, I guess.
Yeah, I just put them in a folder.
Yeah, I like to have the ability to make the front end not look hacked just for
well, that's what I like about it
for G-roll purposes.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's exactly how I have mine. I just have them the homebrew apps like in their own folder. I don't even put them on the main page. Like
can
I
you
put
now? I assume you can just put in any region cart and it just seamlessly works, right? Can you put in like your Japanese Sega 3D classic things?
As far as I know, yeah. Like once it's all done, I dumped everything. So, like, I assume it is. Like, it's been a while since I did it, but I dumped everything because, like the Sega 3D classics. Like I was lucky enough to get the triple pack, the Japanese triple pack, like before I guess it's real expensive. It got real expensive. But I was lucky to get them before. I think I made it was like $80 for like the 3-pack, which at the time I was like, oh, this feels so expensive.
Yeah.
But now it's like I'm glad that I did.
Yep.
But yeah, you can make it so it doesn't even look like it's been hacked.
That's good.
Yes, that's
good.
Yeah, it is.
Also, so there was $10 from Wayne Johnzak. I'm assuming John Zach. If I'm mispronouncing that, I'm really sorry. Saying, you guys grew up playing the SNES. Did you guys grow up playing the SNES? I was 13 when it came out. One of my favorite games was Super Black Bass. Did you guys like fishing games? It was the best feeling when I caught a 22-pound bass.
I have
isn't Black Bass? Isn't that by our good friend Vic?
Mr. Tokai?
Yeah. Have you heard of him, right? I think that is a Vic Tokai game.
I've got a soft spot for Sega bass fishing on the Dreamcast. My cousin had that back in the day with the accessory, or as the Japanese version is called, and I've been tempted to buy it a few times. Get Bass.
Get Bass.
Get Bass. But I grew up with the Super Nintendo, although I got it a little late-ish. I didn't get it until Christmas '94. But yeah, I grew up with it. In that sense, I don't like. I had this idea in my head that like my parents would like be opposed to me having like another console. And like it actually turned out to be like not that big of a deal to ask for it for Christmas, but I was just like, because I heard that story so often where it's like, oh, my parents said you already got a Nintendo,
Yeah.
And that ended up not really being the conversation. So I kind of then wondered like, oh, could I have asked for a Super Nintendo years earlier for Christmas?
I do want to say that Madonna Sheehy is saying happy belated Rex Manning Day, and I hadn't seen Empire Records in so long, and I recently watched it again, and it is way better than I remember it being.
You know,
I maybe saw that when I was, God, when did it come out? Like, was I still in high school when that came out? I mean, I may have been still in high school.
speaking of days, though, you know, I kind of thought about maybe doing this today since
95. So I was in 10th grade, 11th grade.
I kind of thought about doing this today since, you know, last weekend was April Fool's and we didn't stream last weekend, but I thought maybe save this for next year. But something that I had thought of like pretty recently, and then I just happened to see it for $2. It was like I think the second thing I bought at Midwest Gaming Classic was there was this one booth that had like a bunch of copies of Skyrim for PS3 for $2. Which is like an infamously bad version of Skyrim. But something I read recently that kind of made me interested was, something I've kind of wanted to do for a little while is like, I kind of have this idea that I'd like to look at like games for the PS3 and Xbox 360 that like actually output a 4:3 signal when the system is set to like 480p or 480i. That just kind of interests me, especially because I feel like that would look really good on it would look really good on like a VGA monitor. You know, if you convert HDMI to VGA, or I think you could do that natively on the original 360. But anyway, so I thought like, oh, that was on my mind. And I thought like, oh, maybe for April Fool's I could, maybe for April Fool's sometime I could stream Skyrim on PS3 in composite on the Retrode 5X. Like, why not do? Like I don't know. It just seems like a ridiculous use of the Retrode is PS3 composite. I don't know. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, it would be fun.
I want to play. I mean, I don't know. I think Skyrim in that context, just play the first several hours of the game and do whatever the heck you want in it for 3 hours or so would be fun.
All right, so there's also another $10 from Andy64. Thank you.
Thank you.
Saying it's always great to see Dave back on GameStack. I remember his Pebble Beach Golf Links review on the Saturn episode. Dave loves that game. Craig Stadler is simply irresistible. It was fun, you know. And did you watch the 12th anniversary episode?
I did.
You know, so it's kind of fun because like during the ending skit, there's a little bit where for a second I thought maybe it was hinting that like Dave was like going to be back. He's like, I'll be back next week and check up on you.
Yeah.
But then it just like cuts to like next week,
right?
For like the payoff to the skit. And I was like, oh well, maybe that means he's just going to be like in several episodes in a row.
Yeah, I have no idea. I guess we'll find out.
Well, I mean, he says in the skit, he says, I told you I'd be back this week. But I guess we will find out. Does the water make you lose?
I'm pretty sure it makes you lose your B. I think getting hit by enemies also makes you lose it. So.
Yeah.
Oh, I think these fly toward you when you're a bee and then fly away from you if you're a regular Mario, maybe? Because there was one earlier that was running away.
Run away.
I really like, this is kind of similar to what I like about, Final Fantasy 13 and Final Fantasy 7 Remake having like the incidental dialogue. Like this is similar where like you just walk up to them and the text box appears. Like I just feel like it like that difference of not having to like actually enter a conversation just really just makes the process of dialogue and NPC chatter just feel significantly less intrusive to gameplay, and I appreciate that.
Henry Clark was saying, why would you subject yourself to Skyrim?
I like Skyrim.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's all. I mean, it's basically a meme at this point.
Or I mean, Skyrim on the PS3, because I think that it was. Isn't that like it just had such a hard time running?
Yeah,
like,
but you know, I don't think it's like that big of a problem until later in the game when like it's the save file grows, the game just becomes significantly more unstable. Because the game tracks.
It remembers where you put everything.
It remembers where everything is. You know, I mean, that's what makes, you know, the Bethesda games so interesting and yet also so unwieldy is you have such power to sculpt the world. Like not literally sculpt it like an Animal Crossing, but there's just it just you really just have this world that you can just like tear apart if you want to, and I've always found that interesting. But yeah, I mean, I like Skyrim. I mean, I know it's so overdone, but like, and so, you know, I know that the Bethesda RPGs don't exactly have like deep combat or anything, but I always feel it is serviceable, and it's the structure of the game and the ideas of how it's put together, even though they're a little jank, that interests me. I mean, it was my first one, and I don't think this is a super popular opinion, but like, I still get a kick out of Oblivion. Like, I can just like pop that in and just be like, oh man, I really feel this urge to get to the other side of the map. Like, I want to go all the way to the far western edge of the map. I really like it.
Yeah.
Like, just something about that world is very nostalgic for me.
Someone was just asking if we saw the movie this weekend, and you know, like we talked about the movie already, the Mario movie. Mm-hmm. But it's funny because, and you haven't seen it yet.
Seen what?
I was gonna say you haven't seen Tetris yet.
No, I haven't. I've seen Mario though.
Right. I mean, I was gonna just talk about Tetris for a second. And you know, like I watched it. I think we watched it on Wednesday. So my kids were on spring break this week, and they went to their grandparents on Wednesday, and we went up there yesterday. So we just like had a couple of days like without. My wife and I just had a couple of days without the kids here, and we just like watched a bunch of movies and just like hung out and just, you know, like worked on different stuff, and you know, like, so it just made me think about how when I was a kid, we'd go to my grandparents' house in Florida for 2 weeks, and my mom just like, you know, would stay home and like work on the house. And that's kind of like what we did. So, and I used to remember thinking like, oh, you know, like I wish she'd go with us. And it's like, just sitting back, you know, it's like, you know, I miss them, but it's like, it is like, it's amazing when they're not here for several days, you know, just like, it's just real nice.
So we get it
Tetris,
now.
and my wife doesn't like really have any interest in that, like that kind of stuff. So she had no idea about any of the stuff, and she like really liked the movie.
Yeah.
She like.
I mean, has she ever played Tetris?
What?
Has she ever played Tetris?
Yeah, she does like Tetris, but she doesn't. It's like one of the few games that she has played more than once. But I mean, obviously, she knew nothing about this, and she really liked the movie. I thought the movie was pretty good, and it takes a little while to get going, but and I said this to her, like, I feel like I understand why they did like these kind of like pixelated graphics segments, you know, like in transitions and stuff. But in a way, I felt like I kind of like cheapened it. Like, oh, you know, it's a video game, so we gotta make it like have video game like stuff in it. You know, like I feel like I almost kind of like cheapened it a little bit by doing that. Like, just like play it straight. You know. But I said to you that like early on, there's like one thing that just like one stupid little thing that annoyed me. And I said, you know, like you're gonna know what it is right away.
Yeah.
When it happens, because you're gonna be like, oh, well, why did they do that?
Something that's not accurate to when it was. I got the impression.
Yes, they show something that is not, just like very quickly,
That shouldn't exist.
that does not exist yet.
Oh.
And it was just like annoying to me.
You
and
know,
especially when they follow it. And I was kind of impressed because there's one part where they, you know, like they mention Punch Out and they say it's like, you know, Mike Tyson in Punch Out.
Which is shocking that Nintendo allowed.
And they show Mike Tyson's Punch Out and they show Mike Tyson in Punch Out. And like it just felt like I was surprised to see, like, even though it's like era correct, I was just surprised to see that happen.
Yeah, you know, I saw some comparison made of, you know, just like a couple of review quotes from the Mario movie and the Tetris movie that was just like people who just like supremely didn't get it. And like one was like, I can't remember what the comparison was, but it was like something about like describing Bowser in terms of like, it was just like, here's a character everyone under the age of 40 knows. Like, and this was like such an archaic way of like explaining what Bowser was. I don't remember what it was. But then, like, alongside that, I saw that there was, like some review for Tetris where like the guy said like he liked the movie, or I don't know if it was a guy, whoever the reviewer was liked the movie, but had not heard of Tetris before the movie. It's like the context where I saw it was like I don't want to make fun, but like I just legitimately want to know, like, how did you how?
Look at how like he's like shining that light like right in Mario's face. It's like blinding him right now.
But like, I mean, it's just that is deeply fascinating to think how like a human could just not hear of Tetris.
Yeah, I can understand that. There was $5 from Joe Sean. Thank you, saying I saw Tetris with no spoilers to try, and watching the gaming historian documentary where the action sequence really that necessary. I mean, they weren't necessary, but you know, like, you know, it's you know that they're making it like, okay, we got to have an action beat.
Yeah, well,
and that's what they chose for the action beat. And you know, like, I don't know, like it's silly, but at the same time, and you know, I feel like it would have been less silly if it didn't like go into like pixelated view stuff like throughout that car chase. Just like let it be a car chase. Don't like switch angles to this overhead shot of like the cars going down this alleyway and like pixelated sprites like they're like Tetris pieces like moving through between the traffic. And it's like, this is like that. It just, I feel like it just like cheapens the entire experience. It just like feels.
Well,
It makes
it
feel
probably
sillier
literally
than
did cheapen to use that instead of real footage. Like it was probably less expensive.
yeah.
Um,
But that's just, that's.
but I'm looking forward to watching it sometime for sure.
Yeah. I mean, when I say like the thing that annoyed me, it's just like a time period incorrect thing.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody in the chat know exactly what I'm talking about? Because I'm curious to know if you noticed or thought about it right away.
Well, but I mean, is the car chase necessary and stuff? But like, I remember back in college, 20 years ago, me and my roommate like reading about the story of like, getting the license for Tetris. And back then we were like this should be an action movie,
Yeah.
So like I kind of respect that they wanted to do that, because it's like, like I had those thoughts too, even though like I knew even back then, like in my head it was like it's probably a lot more exciting than it actually was. But I read a quote from, what's his name, Hank Rogers, is that it or something?
Yeah,
like
Hank. Yeah, Hank. Yeah. Hank
I read a quote from him, on the movie, and he was saying, he saw a lot of things in it that's like, well, that never happened, but I did something just as stupid. So, I guess it kind of like made a lot of aspects of what actually happened just more efficient, which, I mean, that's just how movies are.
Yeah. For those guessing, it is not the like, how is this? Can I just like hook up to this Game Boy and like make Tetris appear on there, because it's like coded in C. He could like just take his code and run it on the Game Boy, which like felt like silly. But that's not it. It's just like it's during that same part as the Mike Tyson stuff. Like during the same dialogue exchange. But like my wife liked it. She had no idea about any of this stuff and just thought it was pretty fun.
The people from the trailer that
I'm gonna type it in the chat.
That were looking at the Game Boy. Like one of them was Gunpei Yokoi, right? Like had to be, right? Did they like actually name him?
They never mentioned him by name or show him.
But like, I mean, it's the guy who is Yamauchi is like super, like, I mean, did they name him? Like, I mean, it's obviously him because it looks exactly like him, but.
So I say that, but like all the other references were, era correct, except for that one shot.
No, I'm not going to look at the chat so I don't get spoiled on what it was.
Oh, that's a big mistake. It just seemed like, like that's a weird thing to show for that. And it just makes me wonder, like in those situations, like, did they only do that because they couldn't think of anything else to show in place of that? But they could have. They could have shown something else.
I didn't.
Anybody say like, "Oh, that's wrong." Oh yeah.
I didn't remember this. Like I wonder if this is like still considered like the canonical term. Like that when I got the star, they called me Rainbow Mario. Like I've always just referred to him as Invincible Mario, right? Like I wonder if that's like if that's like considered like the official term for the power up these days.
Maybe. It was pretty great in the movie though when they get the star and like the music.
Oh yeah. I mean it kind of made me think of the ending of Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Not that I want to spoil exactly what happens,
yeah.
but like it had like a similar vibe where it was like the most over the top version of invincibility that you could conceive of, basically.
Yeah. Really quick, Kaylee Gamer, like I understand like that thought process, but at the same time, they show shots from other stuff that was like time period accurate, and it just feels out of place. Yeah, like, that's what I was surprised, but it was good. It was good.
I really wish I wasn't having such a hard time with the side jump. Like that's like I wonder if it's just the Joy-Con. I might try the like I feel like pointing.
Are you drifting?
Huh?
What, is it just not working as good or what?
It's just I mean, I don't remember how well it works on the Wii, but like just based on how easy I would expect it to be in Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, Mario Odyssey, Mario 3D Land. Like it's just not triggering very well. And I don't remember if it felt that way on the Wii as well, but it's tough. I might I mean like it feels like it would be weird to point with the Pro Controller, but I'll switch to it just
Are you gonna try it right now?
Yeah, just to experiment. I just want to try.
Okay. Rooster Blood, the next video is going to be on the PS2 power adapter and about how I use it to power like almost all of my systems that use like a barrel style connector. And with like like using a various amounts of adapters and splitters and stuff, I can basically power all of my systems using just like one of those.
You don't have to. You can't turn them all on at once.
You can't turn them all on at once, but you can. You can turn on you can use a connect to the Genesis, Sega CD, and 32X, and it works fine.
And you gotta be careful about polarity.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that's one of the things I need to I'm really gonna stress. It's like you got to use, make sure that you are conscious about what you are doing.
Oh yeah, this is night and day doing the flip for controlling Mario. But I also played Mario Odyssey with separate Joy-Cons, and I don't remember having trouble with that, but this could just be a case of it not remapping the analog sensitivity quite as well. But I don't remember. I mean, it's been a long time since I played Odyssey. But yeah, in terms of doing that jump move, I mean, it's so easy to do here. It's just the pointer is a little weird with the like doing this deal with the Pro Controller. Not quite natural.
Yeah. But luckily, I mean, that's just, you don't have to use that a ton.
I mean,
It's just to collect stuff, really, and maybe shoot things here and there. I think you press the X button and it centers it.
the R button.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm going right into this, but I mean, but this feels more natural.
Yeah.
Like for moving this won't be that weird, I don't think.
EB Chill, I have not, like, I heard about what's happened with the Xbox retail developer mode fiasco, but I haven't, like, really paid too close of attention. I mean, I installed those emulators, so they just made it so they just don't work, period, unless you pay for the developer mode, which is like $20. Is that the deal?
Well, the big deal is there are limitations with developer mode where you don't have access to the full brunt of the system.
Oh.
So that's why it's a big deal, because I don't know all the details and limitations, but like you can access the full power of the system in retail mode, but in developer mode you only have access to so many cores. So that's why that kind of stinks. I said a few weeks ago when the Xbox Series S was half price, I bought it. Just, I mean, it was $150. I was like, you know what? That's like just a really nice system to use for, whenever the need arises to capture software, just general software emulation. And because I don't love using it on PC. And but I can use the same emulators you can use on PC, but it's just in a little more appealing form factor for me to set up and use. And when I heard about this, I actually turned my router off and turned on the Series S and made it forget the wireless router. And I loaded up Dolphin. I didn't try any of the others, but I loaded it up and it worked. So I just see what happens if I never take the Series S online again. But they're also on my Series X, and I'm assuming that's going to be a no-go. But if I can just use that on my Series S, but maybe I'll do developer mode someday. Maybe I will, but there are limitations and hassles, additional hassles there.
Is the whole thing that they're just charging people $20 for it? Is that
no? I think the main thing, it's not that, because I mean that's always been how it is. It has nothing to do. I don't think the outrage is that. Well, there's a few layers here. I mean, for one, the DF Direct came out a day early. I'm assuming there must be a big embargo tomorrow, and so that's why it probably came out a day early. But
I think it's because of the.
I was listening to it. What
holiday?
One of the big things they were complaining about is they didn't like the fact that, okay, here is software that is on your system, and you can, you have access to, you validate it and everything, and it turns out they have the power to say, like, oh, this software that's on your Xbox, you can't use it anymore. Like, yeah, like it's one thing. It's one thing if they say, like, like, you can no longer buy this, or you can no longer download this. But this is on your Xbox. It was working, and you can't use it anymore. Like that. I guess that kind of does feel a little invasive.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not like unheard of happening before.
Yeah, but that was like John and Oliver's big issue when they were talking about, which I can understand that too. But like from my perspective, the main thing was just if I don't have like a legitimate use for developer mode, I shouldn't have to get developer mode. And if I have developer mode, the system just, it's not going to run. The emulation is not going to run as well because you don't have, you only have access to so many cores, I think. Like you do not have, I don't know why it's this way, but supposedly you don't have the full power of the system. Like, I mean, you have to have an actual, I guess, Series X dev kit to, I guess, test higher end software that would, actually, tax the full system,
Right.
So, I mean, that kind of stinks for sure. So yeah, I mean, I don't, it's a shame. I mean, and another thing that I think has people mad is I don't know if there is evidence for this necessarily, or if it's just speculation, but another reason people are mad is they think that it was Nintendo that sort of, I guess,
forced them into it.
We're pushing them to do something about it. And I think, Nintendo's attitude towards emulation is, a sore spot.
Well, I mean, now I'm sure the gears are working in there with how well Metroid Prime did. They're probably thinking like, what else can we do? Do this. I mean, it's possible. I mean, I'm surprised I didn't get pressured by somebody sooner, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
But I mean,
yeah, it's an unfortunate situation. I mean, but for now, I'm just going to see what I can do. If it's viable to keep the Series S offline. Obviously, I can't do that with the Series X. But,
right.
Because
But I mean, if you have to keep that offline, then you can't like update like any of the emulators if they have.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, that was like 80% of the reason I bought it.
Yeah. Exactly, but I mean, who knows what like they'll add over time to be able to do more with it. I mean, it feels like Microsoft has got to know that a not insignificant amount of people bought that system specifically to do that.
Yeah. And I've always kind of respected Microsoft's. I mean, I respect their approach to, allowing, these user apps on the system, and also by just making developer mode a thing, because that kind of demonstrates just like, they get it, because the fact that they allow users to just do whatever they want with the system.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? Like, people don't really hack Xbox systems because they don't get. Microsoft removes the barriers for why you would want to hack a system, right? Can I get those chain chomps?
Well, I mean,
go up soon?
One of the reasons.
Yeah, but like, I'm just saying.
They want to hack it so they can not they can just have all the games on it for free.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, you know, hacked Switch is rampant and stuff, and
Yeah.
you know, I don't think hacked PS5 is much of a thing, but it probably will be someday. But my point is, by not locking down the systems so hard, Microsoft benefits their platform by not they discourage people from hacking it by essentially letting them hack it under their terms, basically, right? So, like, I mean, I don't know. I'm not wording it very well, but I mean, I'm just trying to say, like, I think Microsoft is avoiding, you know, naughty behavior on their platform by not being super strict, like not saying by saying like this is okay without saying that this is okay, you know. But now they've said this is not okay, and that's unfortunate. And it who knows, it might bite them in the butt eventually.
Yeah. Well, I'll be unfortunate. I'll see what happens. I mean, I have those on there, but I've never used them. I just installed them because
I've barely used them myself, but like I like the idea of it, and I like the fact that, you know, if I need to capture that stuff in the future, I like the idea that like I could just use a console for that and get essentially the same experience that I could get on my computer. You know? Because the console is just much easier to deal with capture setups and how we're used to doing things and whatnot.
So there was two super chats from our good friend Craig Wan, who has not been able to watch the stream in a long time. I was gonna say, I'm sorry, it was 10 minutes ago. It was $15 10 minutes ago, and then there was just another 10, which is holy crap. Thank you. So there was the one from 10 minutes ago says, I miss tuning in your stream since my work schedule changed. This is my only Sunday off, and I want to hang out for old time's sakes. The vibe is good as always. Yeah, I mean, I've definitely noticed that you haven't been here, and you know, like, I see your stuff on Instagram, and like I know you're doing okay. I'm like, oh, you know, I think that you may have like left a comment fairly recently saying, hey, I haven't been able to make it to the streams, but you know, just let you know that I'm still here. But yeah, it's good to see you here.
Yeah.
And then he followed that with another $10. Thank you. Saying, after watching your ROMTech video, I'm intrigued to see someone improve gameplay on some PS1 games like Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Battle 22. A guy could only dream. I wonder if that's possible. I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, is that like the considered to be the best one? Ultimate Battle 22? Or is that just, you know, just like one of 20? Is that like the 22nd game on the system? The 22nd Ultimate Battle on the system? Maybe. I'd mentioned a couple weeks ago that my son was like getting into watching Dragon Ball.
Yeah, why would a PS1 game be called Ultimate Battle 22?
Because there's been 22 of them.
Not by the time PS1 came out.
Well, I said quite the opposite. Ultimate Battle 22 is a bad one.
Ah.
I mean, you know what? I mean, you could do it. I'm sure there's you know, at least a dozen people out there. Oh, there's 22 fighters to choose from.
Ah.
I bet you there's at least 22 people out there that would be really happy you did that. probably.
See, you actually have to use the motion controls like for the menu and stuff. So it is a little weird with but it's you know, you can get used to it.
Half of those dozen are in the chat. It's not good. I'm guessing there's a touch of sarcasm here. Perhaps so. I mean, there's definitely a lot of ROM hacks. Like, I had a lot of stuff that I had captured for and like also didn't feature because I just had to get it done. I knew that there were certain things that I had already captured that I just had to get done.
You know, I really like how this Mario 1 background looks here. Like, it looks really sharp, which makes me wonder if the images are actually vector based. You know?
Maybe.
Because
maybe
they look pretty sharp.
But it's good to see you here, Craig. And I'd mentioned when I was capturing footage for that ROM hacks video that I was going to, like, I streamed a bunch of it. I did, I was able to record and stream it. And I'm going to be doing that a bunch more. I was thinking about what game would I want to play through on the on a stream. I was just thinking, like, oh, I wonder if I could do, like, you know, with the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters coming out. Maybe I'll like replay Final Fantasy 1. And I've never finished Final Fantasy 2, like the real Final Fantasy 2. So maybe I'll do that on that.
You know what we're playing for a backloggery directorship tomorrow?
What's that?
Brave Fencer Musashi.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dang. I mean, I could play that too. On there, but I started Undertale, and like randomly, you know, I brought my Switch Lite on the trip with me yesterday, and I randomly started playing Doom. Like, as I've explained before,
which,
you know, like I played the shareware Doom. I've never finished Doom, so I'm a real life Doom poser. So I'm up to episode 2, mission 3.
How'd you like playing it?
I'm playing on the Switch.
What version is that? Like, is that Night Dive has never done like a Doom 1, right?
No. It's just on the Switch. It's like what I had bought. Like, I think it was like Doom 1 and 2 were really cheap at one point, like the visual versions. And I have the physical 1, 2, and 3 for PS4, and I probably would have played that way. But it's just like I just started playing it. And,
I played.
It goes real quick. Like,
yeah. I mean, that's what I love about Doom is it's just moves fast, you know.
Yeah.
I played the Switch version of Doom 64, which I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
But I tried a little bit of it in, portable mode. I didn't like how it felt on the Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
Did you have any trouble with Doom?
I was playing on the Switch
Doom?
Lite. It was fine. I had to tone down the sensitivity of the right stick a bit, and now it's a lot easier. And turn the motion control from, like, it's just to like look left and right slightly, like a slight motion control. Like it defaults to yaw, which like felt like really weird to kind of just turn the system. But I was able to change it to roll, where you just kind of.
Oh, so you did use motion controls?
I mean, just like a little bit.
A little bit,
just
yeah,
to
yeah.
Help, like smooth out like some of the aiming. But yeah, I mean, I'll continue that.
Does that version of Doom have vertical aiming, or they stick to horizontal only?
No, it's horizontal only.
All
like
right.
it's just like the original. Like it'll automatically.
Yeah, that's what I'm all about.
Yeah, it'll automatically shoot vertically if you need to. I mean, I thought like, well, maybe I should just like play that on the Twitch channel. I mean, that might be fun. I'm a known Doom poser.
But maybe not for long.
Craig Vaughn is wondering what is a Doom poser, and basically it's a Doom poser is someone who says that they have like played Doom,
or that they love Doom, but have never really played that much.
Finished it.
Yeah.
Like I played it. My friend had it, like the shareware version of it, and I played through like several levels of it. But I've never beaten the game.
I've beaten Doom
and I
1.
feel like it's like Doom is like specifically one of those things that I think that people feel the need to say like, oh yeah, I played Doom.
And most people did, but But it's a pretty beefy game, really. I mean, there's a lot of levels.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that first episode went pretty quick. But I think that it's gonna, like, it gets significantly harder.
Have you finished Quake?
No. So like we'll do all these. So no, I've not played all of Doom. I haven't even completely played the first one. So I think that I played the 2017 Doom reboot, but like I'm feeling pretty good about this. It's one of those blind spots that I feel that I have, and I'll be happy to do that.
I've only played like 2/3 of Doom 2, but I have beaten Doom 1.
It's more than me. Like I definitely played it, but I've never finished it. Morn Hokey with actually there was Elk plays and paints.
Elk plays and paints.
Elk plays and paints with $5, but no comment. But thank you.
But thank you.
If you want to say something, or then you just got another $5 saying I'm going to retro game swap meet next week. Do you guys go to swap meets? Do you like them? Also sent the first $5 without a message by accident.
That's okay. What's funny is because the Midwest Gaming Classic was in Milwaukee and so close to Chicago. I ran into at least 2 or 3 people who were like, "Oh, I saw you at the swap meet at Galloping Ghost," those years ago, which was such a random thing that we went to, Like, I think a lot of people were, because also Joe from GameSack was with us.
Yeah.
So like, that was like just a little tiny event. And so I think a lot of people were like, what? Why are these YouTube people here?
Exactly.
And it was just a coincidence that we were, in town doing, stuff, interviewing EGM people, and they let us know like, hey, there's going to be this swap meet at the Galloping Ghost. Like, you should. Well, one of the reasons we went was because there were at least 3 people from EGM going there that we wanted to try to grab for interviews, and those people were the very ones who were at the EGM panel at Midwest Gaming Classic, and we hung out with them again. Like, you know, I was telling you, it was so funny how we, you know, we got an interview with the one editor who we hadn't interviewed previously, and all those other guys, like they came up to our hotel room while we shot that interview, and I was telling Coury, like, could you have like ever imagined, like when you were reading EGM as a kid, that like one day like all these people whose work you're reading just like goes up to your hotel room voluntarily and hangs out for like an hour and a half? Like, how did your life lead to this point? Like, how weird is that?
It's definitely weird.
It's so cool though. But anyway,
you know, like, I thought a lot about that though. Like I thought a little bit about it, I guess, or a lot recently, especially since then. And in a lot of ways, I mean, we are to some people what they were to me.
Yeah, it's weird to think about, but yeah. So I mean, that's like the one time I've been to what was like termed a swap meet, I guess. Like it's not like it's not a show format that I'm like terribly familiar with. I mean, I don't know if that's something that happens near me, and I'm just not aware of it. But I mean, it's just kind of like a mini convention with vendors, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, is Korg's considered a swap meet, or is it big? Is it?
No, it's like it's a convention.
Okay, because I've never really been.
Oh yeah, I mean, I haven't been in a couple of years. Like, there's two of them in Columbus. There's like Torgs and Korgs.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know.
And we met like I guess the guy behind it, right?
Yeah, it's Gary Carnucci is the guy who runs the Korgs. It's like the Columbus, Ohio Retro Gaming Society or something like that.
And then what was? I mean, is he responsible for Torgs as well, or is that different?
No? I think that Torgs was like something that split off from it. But you know, like so, I had met Gary before. Like I'm Facebook friends with him, so I must have like met him before. And. Oops. You know, like Korg is coming up here in a couple of weeks, and there's some guests and stuff going. I'm surprised that they didn't, you know, like ask if I would be interested in going. And I just don't think that he'd ever like seen any of the, like never seen the show before. So I'm like, you know, like I'd like to go. I mean, I usually go.
You know who? I guess it was a viewer of the show that was just one of the most fun parts of the convention for me was, so there was, it's actually sitting right here, the business card. This guy, I'm drawing a blank on his name, but his website is worldofnintendobook.com.
Yes.
And there was this room, and this was the first time this guy had been to a convention, or at least the first time he had shared his collection at a convention. There was this room that it was just unbelievable. It was set up to be like a Sears in 1994-95. Like the Nintendo section of a Sears, and it had a playable Super Nintendo kiosk. It had the playable Game Boy kiosk with the CRT screen. It had, this is my favorite, and I actually did some research into this back in the day, and I was so excited to talk to this guy about it. The Laserdisc kiosk, which you wouldn't have known it was a Laserdisc as a kid, but like there's this panel. And it's got like all of these tiles on it that have different Super Nintendo and Game Boy games on it. And you push the button and it brings up a trailer on the CRT for that game. or maybe not even a trailer. Like some were more just like promotional videos. Like they got the guy that's like from the Donkey Kong Country video in some of them and stuff. And it had like just all of the official Nintendo retail display memorabilia and a bunch of games behind. Although he said the game boxes were reproductions because he didn't want to risk his own game boxes getting damaged. But he said, I'm a very private guy and sort of private collector, but he'd let like friends come into where his collection was set up in his basement. And he was finally encouraged to, actually share it more broadly. And, you could tell that he was just so happy that he did because, just seeing the glow on people's faces. And he said some people were in tears when they saw it. And, when he showed me his book, which he said, unfortunately was just a few weeks shy of making it to the convention. He showed it to me though. And I just, thumbed through very quickly, just going through the pages, and he was pointing out all these different photos to me. And I was telling him like, I've just got goosebumps looking at these photos. And so the book, I pre-ordered the book when I got home. It's just worldofnintendobook.com. And it's got all of these incredible photos of, retail setups and also like I guess like the headquarters of like where Nintendo's retail, like their retail division. Like I'm sure the book will be able to explain it a lot better. I was just going through it really quickly, but like, they had these like all these setups, and they actually showed like factories where some of these like kiosks and displays and other things were made, and like had pictures of like the European headquarters that I'd never seen before. I mean, just all sorts of just incredible pictures. And the book, it's like I guess kind of a volume 1 book, and it's like, I mean, it's a thick book. It's like comparable to any of the other like familiar like hardback video game books like Evan Amos's The Game Console. So it's a substantial book. Just incredible pictures, and it actually specifically is covering, I think it's 87 to 1990. So it's like the peak NES years, right before the Super Nintendo took over, and the Super Nintendo years was kind of what the actual exhibit was set up. I'd never seen anything like it at a convention. It was so cool seeing that stuff and that atmosphere again, especially because like the era that it was set up to imitate was like, that was like the year 94, 95 that I was first getting into, like, because that was, like I said before, that was when I got a Super Nintendo. So that was when, because I just had a Game Boy and an NES, and I was like, I was aware of games like when they came out, and even then I probably wasn't aware of like all that many. But I enjoyed getting games for NES and Game Boy, but like it wasn't until I got a Super Nintendo that I really started paying attention to like what is coming up, like what am I excited for, what do I want to get like right when it comes out, right? So like that, and also, I don't know about you, I don't know if this is a common experience, but like Sears, I feel like for me was like the store where I played video game kiosks the most often. Like especially Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. Like Sears was where I like played. Like I don't necessarily remember buying a lot of games at Sears, but I remember playing kiosks at Sears quite a bit. So,
I mean, I heard you like from a distance say like, I have goosebumps right now.
I did. It was it was an incredible exhibit, and it sounds like he's going to be doing more conventions. So, hopefully, other people can see it, because it was unbelievable. It was such a cool thing to see.
Yeah, yeah, it was cool. I'm excited for the book as well. I did want to. There's a couple of other super chats, but I did want to jump in and say so. CR Tinkering said had a $5 super chat saying it's my daughter's birthday. Could you please send a shout out to Cora? She would appreciate it very much. So, I hope you have the happiest of birthdays, Cora. Thanks
cool.
for watching.
Yeah, that's you know, I actually I kind of have run across throughout my life like a whole bunch of people who like always have like a birthday around Easter. Like my dad's birthday is around this time. You know, I remember my dad was talking not that long ago about you know, looking over like the future years of like how many future birthdays of his will coincide with Easter, and he's like, well, I hope I make it to a couple more of those. You know.
I hope that tomorrow you'll be able to look back on your birthday and say,
That's good.
Yeah.
or that was good. And maybe, I don't know, if you enjoy it, you'll have some
Chicken.
Or at least maybe some cake or cake-like food that was. I'm waiting for you to hit the button.
some cake like food that what?
That was. You're supposed to hit delicious.
Delicious.
There you go.
Oh, sorry. Anyways, I'm gonna back up a little bit now because now there was $2 from Warren Hokie asking how easy is it to play this on a Switch Lite? I feel like it probably is not super easy.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine that like Skyward Sword would play too great either. Like I know they have like the right analog stick control scheme for it, but I've played very little of the new version of Skyward Sword. But like, man, I have to imagine that right analog stick method has got to be a little difficult, you know, wouldn't you think?
Yeah. Backing up a little bit more, there was also $2 from Jonathan Hinson. Thank you. Saying, evening guys, just enjoying the conversation and watching Try play through this game.
Yeah, I mean, I just, you know, I don't necessarily expect that this is going to become a full replay necessarily. I mean, it could, I guess, but like, I just had not played that much of this version, and I just wanted to. You know what?
What if every time you jumped on the toads, instead of going like making their like high pitch, they were like,
well, that'd be pretty good. That'd be pretty good.
There's also $5 from Mega X6 saying, I'm loving the stream after watching the movie with my nephew last night. Just watched Maximilian Dude beat Mario 64 for the first time this week too. Oh. So I bet you like everyone's kind of feeling you know, like reinvigorated of checking out some Mario stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
after
I
enjoying
just,
the movie.
I just thought something Mario would be good to play. I mean, you know, I even thought about like, I really want to replay Mario Odyssey. Like, I really want to 100%.
I almost suggested that tonight.
But I guess I kind of felt like maybe I wanted something a little lower commitment, because I mean I've already played through this game 2 or 3 times. I've 100% this, and like if I was doing Mario Odyssey, I would feel more like I really got to commit because I really want to 100% it. You know, I actually, you know, I had to drive a couple hours a few days ago, and I listened to a still loading podcast episode that had Winter Eye on. He was on it.
Yeah.
And it was on Mario Odyssey 2. And
okay.
and that, you know, that's a game that I've only played through one time, and you know, it definitely made me want to revisit that as well. You know, that was the first like Super Mario game that I didn't 100%.
That's good.
Right.
And
I mean, I can understand why though.
I mean, it was just, I mean, it is an excellent game, but you know, it's more of the same, right?
Yes, exactly.
And you know, like it felt weird to not 100% it, but like you know, that was also like, it was also really weird because normally that would be a game that I would get like day one, no ifs, ands, or buts, but I mean, I was on family vacation at the time, and I wasn't, you know, I expected to be more upset about missing the day one release of it than I expected to be. But again, it was just like, I mean, no matter how much I loved Mario Galaxy 1, it's still like, it just, to me, that game could never have the same impact, even though a lot of people just swear up and down that, you know, it's got much more robust level design, and I guess I guess that's probably true. I mean, I don't know, but I just I don't know. I mean, just to me, it just could never recapture, you know, the originality of this.
Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you. You know, I finished it, but I didn't do everything like I did in this. Although I didn't do 100% with Luigi. I did
100%. I mean, I actually like how Luigi feels in this more than Mario. Because that was one little thing that that kind of disappointed me a touch. Like, just like the one thing when this came out that I was like, I was a little let down by Mario's relative stickiness and somewhat slower movement speed compared to, you know, Mario 64. Which I understand why they wanted to change that, because, I mean, for one, it works within the context of this game because it is the locations that you're navigating are so different from like the big open fields of Mario 64, the relatively open levels of Mario Sunshine. So I understand why, but I also just feel like there's this idea that like Mario 64 is like too loose and difficult to control that I just like profoundly disagree with, because Mario 64's controls are perfect and always will be perfect.
I mean, I of course don't agree.
Well, I know. I mean, I cannot get my head in a mindset where I can understand.
You didn't play it immediately when it was like brand new.
Huh?
I mean, that's like, I think that I mean, I'm sure people probably feel that way that played it when it was new.
Yeah, I mean, it was just.
I bet you most people playing it now for the first time probably don't feel that way.
I mean, it was too real to be real. I mean, the thing is, I feel like just Mario's the ability that you have to perform acrobatics is, I sincerely think that it is unlike any other game that has come since. Like, it just feels like you have, if you understand the controls, it just feels like you can make Mario do things that no other game will let you do, and it's incredible to me. And I feel like developers looked at Mario 64 and are like, oh, like if you have this much control, then you know, you could break the game in all of these different ways. But Mario 64 is just like, let's just let you do whatever the heck you want. And you know, if it lets you do a sequence break, if it lets you if it lets you do some get a star in a way that you shouldn't get, like we you know, it's like we don't care. We'll let you experiment and just have fun.
Yeah. So there was $5 from Ricky Diamond,
Who we also met.
and says here, hope you all had a fun Saturday or Sunday at MGC. We went for about an hour that day and drove home. We were exhausted. The convention was a great time.
Oh, so
It was,
so you were only there for an hour, or
well, on Sunday.
oh, on Sunday? Because I was going to say, like, if that's all you were there, we were very lucky that we bumped into you.
Yeah, I mean, we met him on Saturday. I mean, I'm pretty sure of it.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, Sunday was a much smaller day.
Right, exactly. There was also $2 from Warren Hoke. Thank you.
Oh, thank
saying,
you.
there's only one Mario movie, and it is from 1993. I mean, I understand.
Both of us do appreciate that movie.
I
for
mean, I
what
saw
it is.
the opening weekend in the theater and liked it. And I even saw like it in a theater, like I must have been like 12 years ago now, when they were like the only existing film print or something like that. They were touring with it.
You know, I thought before he turned around, I thought the guy that, you know, Charles Martinet played on the arcade machine and in the new movie, from the back at first I thought he was supposed to be Bob Hoskins Mario.
That would have been funny.
You know what? It was so weird. I when Dave appeared on the new game sack, like, I don't know why my mind went here, and I don't, you know, whenever I say someone, you know, my facial recognition skills are like at least slightly below par, and whenever I say, you know what this guy looks like, he looks like this guy, like, there's probably like a 75% chance that whoever I'm talking to will be like, what? No. But like, I feel like Dave at his current age, and then when he was wearing glasses in those skits, like, to me, he kind of weirdly looked like a taller, skinnier Bob Hoskins to me. Is that weird? Is that weird to think that?
No, I mean, I could see that. It's just, you know, it's just funny because I need to go back and look at his last episode, because like he comes back and he's like full on gray now.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you know, but really, like, I'm basically gray. If I grew my hair out for whatever reason, I mean, it would look stupid for one, but it would be totally gray.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, you know, my facial hair has some gray in it. Anyways, there was $5 from James Boone.
Oh, it's just a whole.
Thank you. Saying, asking Coury, have any promo items from your EB days? I took home their Rival Schools, Ridge Racer Type 4, Final Fantasy 7, and Zelda Ocarina of Time displays, and a Seaman tin can. I'm sure I have a whole bunch of stuff, like in, you know, I have like a bin of like all kinds of stuff. And I wish that I had more. Like, the thing that annoys me so much, especially being as much of a working designs fan as I am, I don't know why I got rid of like I had almost a complete collection of those Arc the Lad collection pocket watches.
Oh yeah.
And like, for some reason, like it annoys me. It annoys me that I didn't even keep one.
And like,
I don't know why. Like,
you've never ceased to be a working designs fan.
No. And I don't know why I didn't just keep one of them. It annoys me so much.
How much are they worth now?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't even looked them up. I don't want to look them up. They were like these pocket watches, yeah. But I'm sure I've got some stuff like in the bins. I'd have to open them up and look through. I'm sure that I have some stuff. You know, there's some T-shirts that I wish that I had kept, and you know, like maybe they exist someplace. Like I had this like a Ridge Racer Type 4 T-shirt. I mean, I had a whole bunch of shirts. I wish I'd kept them. But I'm sure there's stuff in the bins. And you know, like there was a lot of displays that I took home. You know, I had like Lunar 1 complete, Lunar 2 complete standees. I had a Fantasy Star Online standee.
I probably could have
I
jumped.
had like all kinds of standees.
Recovered.
But there's a lot of different stuff that I had, and I wish that I had kept a lot of that stuff. I talk about it a lot because so a lot of the stuff was in the closet, was in my childhood bedroom closet at my mom's house, and my mom went through that stuff and like said, "Oh, do you know, like I'm gonna get rid of this stuff. Do you want any of this stuff?" And this was like during a period where was just like burnt out on games, and I hadn't played a whole bunch. And I was like, "Oh, you can just, you know, get rid of like whatever you want to get rid of." And there's some stuff that I did keep from that, but there's so much stuff that you know that we just got rid of. And that was like less than a year before we started the channel. It's so annoying. So annoying that I wish that I had kept a lot of that stuff. It would have just been really, really useful. So what can you do though? It doesn't
You can't
matter.
do nothing.
Can't do nothing now. So that is that. Oh, the giant cardboard promo cutout for Resident Evil 2. I do remember that.
That sounds amazing. They have like Leon and Claire on it or something, or Birkin.
I feel like it was just like the you know the hand coming around the door. Like on the box art.
But it was like a big one, like a big
Yeah.
floor standing one.
Yeah. H King is curious to wonder if you went back and played Dragon Quest X.
I played a good chunk of version 2. Hang on. Oh, there. I was trying to figure out what was new. I played a good chunk of version 2 yesterday. Actually, Lynn was actually asking me just today, like, "Hey, when's gonna be a good time to subscribe to Dragon Quest X again?" And I'm like,
And you're like, probably never.
Very busy at the moment. I want to really badly, but committing to that right now seems like I mean, especially with like, you know, games that I want to play right away, like
I'm
Zelda.
gonna run to the bathroom while you're
Okay.
telling the story.
But
I might grab a piece of candy.
games that I'll want to play right away, like Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, and Final Fantasy 16. You know, as it is, I'll be strapped for time to play those, and like I gotta play those. I really do want to get back to it though, because I think it is quite good. But yeah, it's excellent. And version 2 areas are, like, I think substantially more visually interesting than version 1 areas. So yeah, it's pretty neat. I can't wait to see, you know, even further into the game. And the story for version 2 seems pretty cool. Like it introduces that blonde-haired character who is like featured in a ton of the promotional art, who also tends to be the character who represents Dragon Quest X and like other games and other media. Anlusha, I think is how her name is supposed to be said. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool, but just didn't have time to finish version 2 in the month that I subscribed again last year. But yeah, it's really good. Just looking for the right month to do another round of it. Yeah, I really like how Luigi controls in this. I would love to. I wish that Luigi could be unlocked from the beginning in this version, but I understand why not. But I do slightly prefer playing as Luigi to Mario. I mean, I always prefer playing as Luigi, but I also prefer Luigi's mechanics here. In general, I prefer Luigi's mechanics. Like, I've always liked like kind of the looser, higher jumping feel of Luigi when his mechanics do differ from Mario. Oh, I see we got another super chat. I'll wait for Coury on that one.
All right, I'm back. I heard you say wait for me.
Oh, you got a new super chat for you to read.
Oh, okay. There's $9.99 from Adam Stalker. All right.
Thank you.
See if I can. Thank you.
Thanks for doing the side panel at MGC. It was great to chat for a little bit. Did you check out any of the NES homebrew games? Great community. Also, I need that panorama game.
So what's the panorama game? I'm not I didn't see that. Maybe I didn't check out any of the homebrew games. I saw them, but I didn't play any of them.
Oh. Yeah, I did. I was like passing by like a big homebrew section, like shortly before I had to go to one of our panels, and I kind of did want to. I wanted to spend a little more time taking a look, but yeah, I didn't have a chance. There was also like homebrew pinball games there. There was like a homebrew Undertale game, which was kind of a strange thing to see. I wonder if it like had any like official involvement from the creator.
I don't know. So the side panel at MGC, like you mean like the one that we did on the stage with Tiger Chainsaw, or the
I assume that's what
like the YouTuber panel that. So you did two YouTuber.
I was on two
panels. I did one
panels.
of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were on the other with me. I assume he means the Tiger Chainsaw one. And we did hang around, talk to a few people following that panel as well. You might have been one of them. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Oh, I didn't I noticed that Lynn is in the chat.
Yeah,
Fu-
I modded her.
Huh?
I modded her.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was just saying that's just funny since the Dragon Quest X thing came up. Yeah, she was telling me that she always reminds me every month when it's 10 day, because on the 10th day of every month, on the 10th day of every month, you can get these special tickets in Dragon Quest Dragon Quest X that you can redeem for like cool gear or cool mounts or things like that. And yeah, it's like the free hours on the weekend are like it shifts throughout the year, but like right now it's like 3 a.m. our time. It's like nah.
So the panorama game is it's a flip up panorama game that changes the scene. It's an actual flip book. I remember hearing something about that, but I didn't.
What's that game called? Like the one that debuted at like, was it the game that debuted at the Game Awards or something? Or I don't remember where it was. Or maybe it was E3 last year, or not E3 last year. What is, like the Unreal 4 game where or it kind of has this like almost like link between worlds type thing where like the character sometimes like can get like actually go onto the wall of like the stuff on like a desk, and like there just seems to be all sorts of crazy scenarios, and it looked really really good. I'm not sure if that's what he's talking about.
I don't know.
It looked
sounds familiar,
really
but
cool,
I can't
though.
tell you. Can't tell you what it was. I'm just saying. By the way, it's 10 day now.
I know that's why I'm saying that the Dragon Quest 10 thing came up, but since I don't have a subscription, I would have to go during the free hours, which
I see.
so that's, and the free hours right now are 3 a.m. So because I think it's like after school, right? Because 10 day is a Monday right now, right? So it would be after school hours in Japan. Whereas on the weekend, I think it's more around like noon-ish. So it's a little more doable.
So I got to ask: is this getting? Do you feel like playing this with the controller is like making a lot more sense now? Like it's fine.
It's fine. I mean, it's not perfect. I mean,
Well, it's not perfect. Yeah, it wasn't perfect.
it's
the
not
other way,
perfect
but-
the other way either. So, I mean, ultimately, probably just playing on the Wii is probably still like from a gameplay perspective is probably the best overall. But you know, it is nice seeing the high res graphics, even though not that much work overall was put into it.
Right.
It's a pretty basic conversion, but it still looks good,
Yeah. Just making sure I didn't miss anything else here. Any other the chats. This is a pretty lengthy game.
It is. I mean, you know, you know, when you replay it, you know, you realize like you don't get stars at like a super rapid pace.
Right.
Compared to say like Super Mario 64 or even Sunshine. But you know, that's kind of because I think what was really refreshing about this game at the time, you know, collectathons are kind of a fun thing for indie games to explore again nowadays, I think. And I've enjoyed some of the 3D platformer throwbacks. But at the time, you know, really 3D platforming was not terribly hot anymore in general, and I think it was just, you know, the fact that collectathons had kind of been overdone that kind of killed it for a while in a way. And can I long jump? No, I can't long jump. I can jump. But yeah, it kind of killed in a way. And so when this came out, it was actually kind of refreshing to see like a 3D platformer where the levels are more linear. I mean, yes, like you revisit the levels several times, but for the most part, they actually have you go into entirely different planetoids over the course of the level.
Yeah.
So it's the same environment, but you're actually going to different areas. So the linearity for a 3D platformer was actually kind of refreshing. I mean, I had played very, very little like Crash Bandicoot at the time. So I played like a tiny bit of 3 and maybe 1, like on my cousin's system. But I didn't really know that much about them overall. So like now I like definitely kind of respect the Crash Bandicoot is like a linear platformer. But like, yeah, it was like the more level-based approach was like, oh wow, like this is kind of a throwback, you know, to like 2D Mario games.
Yeah.
And at the time, New Super Mario Brothers was the only new 2D game. New Super Mario Brothers Wii didn't come out for a few years. So, you know, I always think it's easy to forget that, you know, when New Super Mario Brothers came out, it was like, you know, it wasn't overdone at that point, you know?
Right.
And it was special, sort of, for a time, I thought.
Yeah.
And I liked Wheel. I still think, in my opinion, New Super Mario Brothers Wii, I think is.
But do you think it was fun because of the multiplayer?
It was, but I mean, but at the same time, the multiplayer is rather chaotic, and I have, you know,
But I mean, that's the appeal of it.
That is a big appeal, but I did replay it, you know, by myself, and I still think it's the best of the new games. You know, I think the propeller suit is really good in it. The penguin suit's pretty fun. You know, the flying squirrel suit is really fun, but it's kind of similar to the you know, the jump from the Tanuki in Mario 3 to the cape in Mario World, where the cape is a lot less. It's more technical, less easy to control, and ultimately probably doesn't let you go to quite as many places. But
I barely remember anything about any of those.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean that's totally fair. But yeah, it's it doesn't let you go to as many, like you know what I mean, like the raccoon tail in Mario 3, like it's just really easy to fly with. Now you can go farther with the cape, you know, in one go, certainly. But like, you know, if you want to just go straight up, it's like it's definitely more difficult. And I sort of I guess what I'm trying to say is I see it as being a similar sort of thing with the jump from the propeller cap to the flying squirrel suit, where it's like it was easier to just it was easier to just fly up with the propeller cap, even though the squirrel suit lets you go farther. It's just it's more technical and less easy to do exactly what you want with it. And in a lot of ways, I kind of thought the
I
propeller
don't even
cap
remember
was just more
anything. I mean, I
fun.
don't even remember any of the power-ups. Like you say the propeller, and that rings a bell, but I haven't thought about the propeller cap in
I
15
mean,
years.
and technically that is also in New Super Mario Brothers U. I mean, I think it has
Yeah.
all of the power-ups from Wii, but it mostly only comes up, I think, in like the special levels or something. I mean, I never 100%ed it, so. Man, if you miss
I mean,
that, if you miss
did you
that
ever
shot there,
100%
this is kind of scary.
did you 100% any of the new games?
The
first DS
the first
maybe?
one and the Wii one, yes. I never did U, and definitely not New Super Mario Brothers 2. Because I played New Super Mario Brothers 2 like several years after the fact, because I actively avoided it due to just, I knew that New Super Mario Brothers U was going to be launching on the Wii U, and New Super
Yeah.
Mario Brothers 2 came out on the 3DS like just a few months prior, and I was like, well, I don't want, like, I already know that it's just going to be the same dang thing. And I want like my experience for the first HD Mario game and the first like my first experience with like a brand new HD Nintendo console. Like I want that to feel at least a little special. So I didn't want to spoil it with New Super Mario Bros. 2, and then I didn't play it for years. Also, the music in these levels is great.
There was $5 from Chris Fratz, who said, I just came back from seeing the Mario movie, both of them, in fact. The 93 one wasn't great, but the new one was amazing. How's everyone doing? I mean, is the first one, or like, I mean, I wonder if like the first one is like, is it like a double feature or something?
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Because
I'll tell you, you know, I mean, my son has like kind of a typical reaction where he's like, oh, you know, I'd rather watch like live action stuff. I'm like, well, you know, there's a live action Mario movie. I mean, I think it would be really, really interesting to have him watch that without any kind of context.
Yes. Oh man, you got to do it.
Yeah, I think that I will. And I would be really, I mean, maybe he'd be into it. Maybe he's like, oh, this is really cool.
I mean, you know,
with like zero like foreknowledge
of
it, and then maybe it'd just be like, hey, it's like actually pretty neat.
Yeah.
You know what's kind of like so interesting about this game is like just coming up with this level design. It's like almost like mind bending.
Yeah.
Like how they would have like had to piece this stuff together. Makes my head hurt thinking about it. There's also $5 from Alex Gavin saying, hey guys, been a minute.
Oh yeah.
I dug the new ROM hacks video. You think the next 3D Mario will be open world a la Bowser's Fury and a Switch 2 launch title? And I think that it will definitely be open world.
Yeah, so Which, you know, I know
I
we
gotta
criticize open
read that.
worlds, but like that, Bowser's Fury was excellent. That was open world platforming done very right. I loved it. I thought it was great. You know, I never actually managed to finish my replay of 3D World on Switch. Like I got to like World 5 or something. Like I don't like, I feel like I like 3D World a lot less than most people. Like I like it, but I don't know. I just get a little bored with it. But Bowser's Fury, I just like devoured. I mean, it was just, I just thought it was so fun.
Did you play that on stream or did you not?
I may have. I kind of think I did now that you say so.
Because I never beat that.
You never beat it?
No.
I mean,
I barely played it.
It's really short.
Well, that's what I need to do. After I finish all the 19,000 things I got going on, I guess.
I mean, it's short. I mean, I 100%ed it without a lot of trouble. I mean, it was. I mean, the length was part of why it was so fun, I guess. You know, it was just this like really bite-sized thing, and yet felt like a very substantial and well-realized concept. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's little doubt that it was very much a prototype for the next mainline game. These are definitely some of the best Bowser fights in the series, I think. Like, I really like how these turned out.
I haven't replayed any of the games that are on this collection.
I mean, I
Like
mean,
Sunshine,
obviously
I've
I
only
did
played
Mario
through one time.
64 because we did that video.
Yeah, but you did that section, so I didn't even play that.
Yeah.
But like Sunshine, I haven't played it since it originally came out, and I remember like really not liking it at the time. I wonder if I'd feel differently playing it now.
I mean, Sunshine definitely has.
Maybe that's another one I could do on the Twitch channel.
Yeah, I mean, Sunshine definitely has some irritating design at times, but
Yeah.
it's still pretty good, you know? It's still pretty good. I mean, you know, it's better than most 3D Sonic games.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was the big question for my son because he really liked the Sonic movies. I'm like, did you like Mario more than the Sonic movies? I think that he liked Sonic 2 more than he liked Mario.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because Sonic 2 has Super Sonic in it.
Mm.
I mean, it's like a great moment. I think.
I've still not seen the Sonic movies.
I mean, they're decent. I think
Yeah,
the second one I think is really good.
They're considered pretty good. But you know, the difference there is obviously I don't have the attachment to the material that I do to Mario, so it'll be interesting to see how I react.
Yeah. But it'll be interesting. Like, I mean, if you do get around to watching them, what you'll think, like, oh, I think that you'll feel like this is better than I expected it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And especially the second one, they just like do a lot of stuff that they go all in on, you know, like referencing the games and having stuff from them.
I mean, it's basically Sonic 2, the movie, right? Like the game,
Well,
the movie.
I mean, it's technically Sonic 3, the movie. Yeah, like the story is based on 3, generally. Give yourself one more level.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about stopping after beating Bowser there,
Alright.
but you know, I think this is the section with Gusty Garden, and I don't know if it's the one that's immediately accessible, but might be worth taking
There's
a peek.
There's $5 from Adam Grubbs. Thank you.
Oh.
Saying the best death sound is that of the enemies in Golden Axe 2 on the Genesis. Nothing has surpassed that bar of quality.
Oh, it's not Gusty.
You're not confusing the voice in Golden Axe 2 with the arcade screams from the first Golden Axe, right? Because I feel like the screams in the arcade version of the first game are the best, like straight like one of the best screams. Here's what I need to look into this, right? I saw someone post someplace, I think maybe it was shared in our Discord today. Somebody posted up the original like recording of the Wilhelm scream.
Oh.
And you can like download it. And I wonder if I'm assuming that the Wilhelm scream is like public domain. Like anybody can use it and not get in trouble for it. Like it's old enough to be public domain.
I mean, even
Like I feel like if it is, we should start putting the Wilhelm scream in our videos somehow.
Yeah.
I mean, I will download it. I'm assuming that it's public domain.
You know what was the funniest thing when John and I did that GoldenEye Wii versus PS3 Let's Play, and the scene where Trevelyan's death is faked. Oromov shoots Trevelyan, and then Bond shoots a bunch of the other soldiers, and like one of them totally does a Wilhelm scream. It's kind of great.
Yeah, it was uploaded to Freesound. I'm gonna get it. It's like just it's just somebody doing screams, like recording different screams,
And that's just one of them.
and just happens to be one of them. Yeah, it's cool because the sound file includes like all the ones like before and after also,
Yeah.
and so you can hear them discussing like, oh, do like another scream.
Like, is it like kind of, is it kind of like equalized at all, or does it sound like kind of more? Does it sound like a little like rough, like just because it's like? Really
I only heard it on my
recording?
phone, but like I think it sounded like it was pretty good.
Yeah. Like,
But
I
I'll
wasn't sure if
grab
it
that.
kind of needed some work,
No, I don't think so. I think it's already there.
Well, you should try to find a use for it in the PS2 Slim adapter episode.
Yeah, maybe I could do that. Yeah. You don't want to kill your
Like
system.
don't turn on too many systems at one time, and then you're like Sega Genesis goes, oh!
Oh. Yeah. So, Coury, you don't think the near instant, slightly disgusted bleh of enemies in Golden Axe 2 is not a pinnacle of game voice acting? That's right. I think that all it is in Golden Axe 2 is just they go bleh, bleh. All of them do it. Yeah, I mean, I think that the first one has better sound. The arcade version has like better voices, even though they're all from like First Blood.
Are they?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, you've seen that video, right? Where they have like all the voices, like the death sound from Golden Axe, and it's from. I mean, there's some other ones. It's from like other movies too, but there's like 2 of them from First Blood.
That's funny.
So in the Mario movie, who is Spike? Like what is the character of Spike? Because I know there's a Spike in the live action movie too.
There's not a Spike in the live action. Well, one of the Koopa cousins may have been called Spike. I think it was Iggy and Spike.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's supposed in that movie. I don't think it's supposed to be a reference.
So I wonder if that was like a reference then.
Well, Spike was the foreman in Wrecking Crew. That's what it's a reference.
Okay, yeah.
And he was, it's suggested in the movie that they worked for his company, which was called Wrecking Crew, right?
Okay, so I mean, I know Wrecking Crew, but I don't know the names of the characters in it.
Well, yeah, I mean but Foreman Spike is a character from Wrecking Crew, and that's a character who was now it was like his voice was announced like in the first wave of info on the game or on the movie. So like it was known for a long time he would be in it. But yeah, that's what I mean. Spike is a character from Wrecking Crew, the game.
Okay.
And so it's it's implied that or it's not implied. It's said in the movie that Mario and Luigi used to work for him for his company Wrecking Crew, and then they set off on their own to make the Super Mario Brothers plumbing.
Okay. I did not know any of that stuff. I thought maybe it was, I don't know. I just thought about the character in the live action movie. It was named Spike.
Who was like a really inconsequential character.
Yeah.
But it was a cool reference for sure.
All that effort for this, for an extra guy.
I don't. There's
For an
gotta be
extra- for an
leading me
extra
to the
Mario.
star. I assume. Yeah, there it is. You know what? What's funny about the movie though is, I mean, it was basically implied in the trailer, the first trailer, but because Bowser. Actually, did you notice that the line was different in the movie versus the trailer? Like he goes,
Wait,
"It's finally mine." In the trailer, I think he was like, "It's finally mine. Now who's gonna stop me?" And then I think in the movie he said something more like, "Now no one can stop me," or something like that. Like, it was a little different in the movie. But
That's good.
it was it was interesting to me that like the like the invincibility star was this like singular artifact that like had been hidden away in the Penguin Kingdom,
Yeah.
It wasn't like a power star like that you just get in Mario 64 or in this. It was an invincibility star. It was like the singular one.
Yeah, it was an interesting take. I see that we had a $5 super chat from LGR, who is visiting the stream tonight. Hopefully, you were able to recuperate and didn't have to, getting up real early to make it to the airport.
Yeah, he had like a 3 a.m. flight or something ridiculous.
No, he has a 6 a.m. flight.
Well, he had to get up at 3 a.m.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, why even?
Yeah.
Oh, am I going to turn a robo?
No, you sound fine to me. But yeah, I mean, we just had the best time hanging out with you at Midwest Gaming Classic. We'll have to make it happen again.
He says, I've just barely recovered.
Yeah, it feels like it already feels like a long time ago to me.
Yeah. But we were just talking about, it was just like we had so much fun. And I think I can't even think of the last time that I had that much fun at a convention.
Yeah.
And it was so cool because, you know, we got to hang out with like different people than we've been able to hang out with previously.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we'll end up at the same convention again soon.
Yeah.
Long Island is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We went in. Did we go in 2018? Yeah, it was.
It must have been. It had to have been 2018, I think.
Yeah,
Or was it
because it's like
2019?
October, right?
I don't know. It could have been 2019. I don't know. But whatever year it was, yeah. I mean,
It might have been. Maybe it was 20. No, it might have been 2019.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it.
But yeah, they have like the really cool like observatory panel room. And,
Yeah. It's just a great location for it.
Yeah, and you know what was so interesting about it that was actually really cool for me was, for whatever reason, the ratio of like Nintendo to Sega stuff, like there was probably still more Nintendo stuff, because there's always more Nintendo stuff at conventions. Of course. I mean, Nintendo's made more consoles. But there was a larger percentage of Sega stuff at that convention than any other I've been to. And, you know, as a guy who, you know, is still playing catch up on Sega, like that was actually quite good for me. Like I came away from that convention, I think, with like one PlayStation 2 game, and everything else was Sega. I don't think I got a single Nintendo game at that convention, which was kind of wild. Would you agree that the storybook stuff is like a big part of the reason of why we prefer Galaxy 1 to Galaxy 2?
Yeah, it just got more of a story to it. And
Yeah.
it's cute.
Yeah, like something about the whole storybook thing in this game is just real comfy, you know?
Yeah.
But that I'm probably a good enough of a stopping point here, don't you think?
I'd say so. I'd say so. Yeah, my kids go back to school tomorrow, so it's like back to getting up early and going to the gym after I drop them off. Which is, I mean, it is not fun, but
it's not fun,
but I feel good doing it.
All right, well,
it was. I hope everyone has a wonderful week ahead of you. I'm gonna get busy working on this next video, and hopefully it's gonna be out within the like in that 2-week window. Like I said, I'm just gonna make it. It's gonna be what it is.
Excellent. All right, well, I had a good time playing Mario Galaxy tonight. I feel like I needed it.
Yep.
And yeah, we will see. We'll be back to our regular schedule now that we're.
And I might be I might be streaming over on Twitch here and there. We'll see.
Yeah, why not?
I should be. I intend to.
All right. Well, good night, everybody.
Yep. Take care, everybody. Have a good week. Oh, thank you to everybody who donated. Did I miss it?
No.
Okay. Thank you to everybody who donated. And
always gotta drop that in.
Yep. Heck yeah.
All right. Good night, everyone.